Hola, hola. How's it going, everybody? Another beautiful Sunday here in Vancouver. Welcome to the Royal Hour with KushQueen. And I'm joined with another Sunday legend. What's going on, Freddie?
Hey, how's it going, KushQueen? Nice to be here.
Yeah, it's nice to bump into you today.
Yeah, actually, it's really great to come down here to Vancouver Pain Management.
Yeah,
Meet with you on your show.
thanks. It's
Honored to be on
such a
it.
pleasure to have you here.
Yeah.
What do you think of the place?
Well, I think it's great. It's the same as last time I was in it. Great selections of goodies over there. There's no doubt about it.
Mm-hmm.
Good to see open on a Sunday as well.
Always open.
And good
We
to
are
see-
open actually every single day of the year, including Christmas Day. So
I follow along.
because everyone, like we all, like pain doesn't get a vacation. Everyone's always going to be in pain. Everyone's always going to need their medicine. So especially Christmas morning,
Yeah,
it's
and
a very hard day
Christmas
for
Day struggle to get bud.
a lot of people. A lot of people struggle to get bud, and a lot of people are struggling because of the day itself. So
yeah, and it's good to see
awesome
the
be open.
the dispensaries going in Vancouver because there's been war going on against all the dispensaries in the rest
Very,
of
very
Canada.
true. Very true.
221 dispensary raids now since Trudeau took power. Right?
So sad.
It's good
He
to
was
see.
such a liar. Well, is
Yeah.
still a liar, but
For
it's unfortunate that happened.
I
Made
mean,
us
I'm
all
not into
vote.
politics, but I thought he was all about the pot and shit. Right?
Correct,
So-
right? That's what he made us
Coming
all
from a
think.
basic politician guy.
To vote for him,
Yeah.
and then he just completely kind of switched up on us like that really quick.
Yeah.
Anyways,
think
I know you've got your
I
show
do,
that's
I
going to
do.
be going on here. Please make sure you stay tuned for Freddie's show starting at 4 o'clock, right after mine.
Yeah, I'm YouTube one
On
man
YouTube,
smoke show.
that's
Yeah.
right. So I'll be tuning into that after my show.
Super.
Thanks for stopping by, and it was
Thanks.
a pleasure to have you here. And
Thanks
hopefully
for
you
letting
stop
me
by
pop
again
in and
soon.
say hi. Free the weed.
Yay! See ya.
See you later, KushQueen.
All right, so here to my left, I have another awesome guest who I'm so stoked to be having on my show. I'm a big fan of yours. This is T-Loke.
T-Loke Song.
That's right. How's it going?
I'm
Say
good.
hi to my viewers.
How are you doing? Free the weed, like the man
Right?
said. I love
Absolute
that.
Overgrow the government.
Oh, exactly.
That's our thing, yeah.
Exactly.
So you are in the music industry.
Yep.
You're here from Van City, so you're a
Mhm.
local artist. I'm a big fan of a lot of the local artists here in Vancouver. I love my music, and you guys are freaking talented as
The
fuck.
scene's growing big right now.
It
Like,
is.
Big. I'm even shocked. Like, there's such a crazy young scene out there right now.
But people are shocking me, actually.
Yeah.
Because it used to be like, oh, I can rap, I can do this. And you're like, yeah, okay. And you hear it and you're like, oh, all right. But now it's like people are like, yo, listen to this. And it's like, yo, that was fire.
Yeah.
You got
Yeah.
some talent.
There's
Like, wow.
quality coming out. That's the
Totally.
difference.
Totally, yeah.
Mad quality coming out of the city right now.
Yeah. So you've been in the music industry for how long?
I mean, I've been making music just like passionately probably at least 10 years now.
Yeah.
Right? I think I took it serious since probably like 2011.
Yeah.
That's when I was like, okay, you know what?
This is my
you can make
calling.
music passionately and fuck around with everybody in your neighborhood and shit for us only so far.
Very
So I was
true.
like, fuck it, let's take it serious and let's go to the studio. And
Wasn't
the
that
reaction was too crazy. Like I didn't even expect it myself.
Well, it's
with 604%.
Yeah, well, your last video that you just, or not video, sorry, song that you just dropped was fucking fire.
Oh, bless you. bless you.
Everybody is bumping that shit. All my girls are bumping that
Oh,
shit in their
shit.
cars. And I'm even bumping that shit in my car. It's
Hey.
a fucking amazing song. I actually want to play it for everyone who's watching so you guys know exactly what kind of fire I'm talking about. And we'll just shoot the shit while they're playing the song and we'll get like a doobie ready or something.
Oh,
So you
yeah, we
guys
gotta smoke.
listen to this.
I'm smelling the smoke right now. I gotta
Right?
smoke.
Long live real. Long live tight. Long live long live real. Long live chicks. A lot of people talking dirty. I don't care what they mad about. Cause I ain't got no worries. Set my saw bitch with a camera out. From East Van down to Surrey. Tell them that real shit back in style. Rapping by the trap live. Show me one deep boy that can actually vouch. Flexing. Whoa. I hope somebody get offended. Do so. Just left the trap house on my way to Gas Town. Need a Benz for the bottles in the sections. Oh. Real bitches in attendance. One time for those locked in corrections. Over here, nothing fraud, no pretension. Since day one, gave a fuck about acceptance. Long little real. Long little real one. I came up in these streets, ain't told no lies. Long little real one, thank God I've been real all my life. Long little real one, you too busy to pay attention to rumors. Long little real one, shit get deep. You a shark on motherfucking tuna. Long little real one came from the bottom and you made it out the gutter like me. Yeah. Long little real one, see you my struggle was enough to get off your feet. Yeah. Long little real one, you ain't really on till you go back, put on your team. Yeah. Long little real one, money over everything, never over family. Yeah. Long little east side, raised me like an orphan. Tuna can, now swordfish. Had to put in work to get my portion. When I was younger, couldn't afford shit. Ran a real one, so game and absorb shit. Back then it's jack boy shit. Track on your worker whip, take us right to the sources. Ride around puffin' death, not fought to give. I just double check. Try to cuff some work, better come correct. Throw his guns in your face like funky breath. Ew. Your whole crew full of hard outs with strong words and weak action. In my hood, we call you minor. Bench warmers, try to play team captain. Long little real one, I came up in these streets, ain't told no lies. Long little real one, thank God I've been real all my life. Long little real one, you too busy to pay attention to rumors. Long little real one, shit get deep, you a shark on motherfucking tuna. Long little real one, came from the bottom and you made it out the gutter like me. Yeah. Long little real one, see you my struggle was enough to get off your feet. Yeah. Long little real one, you ain't really on till you go back, put on your team. Yeah. Long little real one, money over everything, never over family. Yeah. Free all the guys locked up, hold it down in GP. Long little real one, took the whole over PC. And long little squad, they ain't know I never kept it less than 1,000. Let my bro Airbud pop a wheelie on you, leave you like Rico and Calvin. Wanna talk haters, got a long line. Hope you brought yours, cause I got mine. When punchlines become chalk lines, I'll associate with rappers who been caught lines. A snitches who been caught spine, ratting at an all-time, fuck that about. Like my OG Vince say, even enemies don't get ratted out. Ain't no sissies in this party. In this party, ain't no sissies in this party. In this party, just some hitters in this party. Couple hotties, it's a fucking gangster party. Death to your face. Salute all the real. Death to all you fake.
All right, so there's the song that I've been bumping on repeat in my car for the last 2 weeks.
Hey.
So yeah, fucking awesome. You're very, very talented.
No, I appreciate it.
I like your flow.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I appreciate the love. Like,
Yeah, I think
just
a
even
lot of
having me
people
on
in
the
this
show,
city
I'm
like you.
really, anybody showing love, I got a lot of love for them
Totally,
too.
for
And I always
sure.
support anything local, like anything local. Like, I
Yeah.
don't care if someone's selling pens. I'm
Right?
gonna support it.
That's how
right?
you know what? I love that because that's what this show is all about, supporting everyone who's local, even non-local,
Yeah, of
and
course.
all their brands, whatever they have, whether it's cannabis related or non-cannabis related. I just want to end the whole stigma
Anyone
to the whole
doing
cannabis
something
scene,
that
you
they're
know?
really passionate and nerdy about and loving it.
100%, 100%. Yes,
Amen.
absolutely.
And if it just happens to be
So
about marijuana, even more blessings.
Hey, right? Absolutely. So this is from Cody. Shoutouts to Cody.
Cody.
He's in the
here.
in the crowd over here too. We'll get him on the show at some point today for sure.
Hey, that's a
He just-
masterpiece right there.
Yeah, he just rolled us a paperless joint. And how many grams are in here?
3.5.
3.5 joints squeezed into here. I don't know if you can see.
Naked Blunts is the
It's
name I'm using.
completely naked. how I
Naked
like it.
blunts. I love
Oh, can you see it? Yeah. It's not like fuzzy or anything. Hold that.
And is the hand hook so you can play? Yep.
it. They're really nice.
I can't wait to see how it smells.
Yeah, I'm pretty curious too.
Good? Got it? Okay. I'm still sitting like this.
Is this your first one?
So, this is my first time ever smoking one of these, yes. By the way, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I've got a legend sitting next to me right now. It's pretty fucking cool.
Hey.
Tim McBride, everybody. So we're gonna get to chatting with you for a really long time here in a
Okay,
minute
cool.
because I can't wait to hear some stories.
Yeah, we got
but
a
first,
really lot
let's
of
light this
stuff.
up. And I want to talk to Tilo a little bit more too.
Sure.
I want to find out a little bit more about your background and stuff too. 'Cause
Okay.
it's important to know. Well, for me, it's important for me to know people who I'm a fan of, I guess. You know what I
And
mean?
hanging
Of
with.
course.
Yeah, absolutely.
I gotta watch this though right now.
Yeah, this is.
It's hard to do with the fan
New
going.
for me, yeah.
But
It's gonna swing back
And the
around
hemp
here
wick.
too, right at the bad time. Damn!
hey,
Almost
Cody,
had it.
you want to
Somebody-
light this
somebody
off camera for
sync
me?
The fan
Just because the fan is here.
Just
No, don't do that.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
gonna
we're-
melt.
The heat will pick up quick.
It'll
starting
pick
to
up
feel like
so
home in
quick.
here, man.
So yeah, while he does that, so you've been in the music industry for how long now?
I mean, when you say music industry, I guess it means
Just
just,
into
making
music. Yeah,
I've been
into
into music my whole life, like since 4 years old,
I love that.
like hip hop music.
Awesome.
This is probably the first time I heard it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who was your first favorite artist? Who got you through those
Definitely
times?
Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Like
That's from my time period. Bone Thugs and Harmony were like my shit. You know.
awesome.
It was like probably the
a lot of
first
inspiration
hip-hop.
from them.
You know what? Now that I'm older and I look back, like definitely.
Yeah.
Like, just like the whole harmonies and mixing it with rap and a little bit of singing and just a lot.
They
of,
were a very talented group.
a lot of marijuana
Absolutely.
influence.
Yes, 100%. 100%.
But yeah, I just fell in love with that. I was young. I was probably like 5, and my buddy left his older brother's tape in my house, and I think I just played it, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?"
Shit's dope.
And it just
Yeah.
I don't know what this is, but I like
Were
it.
they not just here?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
I feel like they were just here. Why do I feel like that?
I hope I didn't miss it
Yeah.
if they were here. But I mean, Bone Thugs was like old school legend, classic. I haven't really followed their new music too crazy, but that's where most of my
kind of how it
influence was.
happens. I noticed like a
Yeah.
lot of the old school. I'm just like, yo, like I grew up to that shit. I don't know their like 2017
Yeah,
album,
exactly.
but I know their like 1990 album or whatever it is, right? I'm like, yeah, but don't know the most recent. Thank you so much.
For sure, you
Oh,
grow
I know
attached
we
to that
will.
old school stuff.
Oh, it's like smoking fucking hash or something, man.
No paper.
Try that out. You got to give it a nice haul.
Yeah,
so I
once
hope
it,
you got some
once
good
it
lungs.
gets going, they're really sweet. That's nice. We
So
had one the other
excited.
night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, it is like a hash.
Yeah, so I get it, man. I know.
It's so hot today. I just want you guys all to know that I am melting and I am wet and sticking to this. It's like, just so y'all know.
I get a charge out of this because
I'm like probably glowing from sweat. Just it's really attractive.
I came out of
Is it leather?
what was a few
Yeah.
days, 98 degrees and nearly as much humidity. So I'm sitting here like digging the shit out of this.
You're like,
man.
yeah, this is cool. I'm like, pour the water on
But you
me.
know what it is? I've been here long. I'm starting to acclimate a little bit. I'll give you that.
Right? Yeah.
But the outside, it's
there
like,
isn't
oh,
much
man.
airflow.
This is like
in
our
here.
winter.
So yeah.
It's crazy how you adapt to heat and there's nothing to you, like it's like when my uncles came, they're from Kurdistan, Iraq, and it's like smoking hot over there, and they still like the man in this weather will sleep in a tracksuit like 4 blankets. 'Cause he's like,
Yes.
this is nothing. This is cold to me.
So now,
Yeah, I had the
See,
big old
now
blanket
I
on last
understand
night
the
and
peop-
shit.
yeah.
Yeah.
People always walk around. I don't understand people wearing jeans and sweaters and judge, and it's just like maybe they're used to hotter temperatures.
Right, right.
Maybe their skin can't be in the sunlight. Maybe. There's just so many maybes.
So many maybes.
Right? Like who cares?
But because I don't go off on all of that really
Yeah.
a lot. Because if one of y'all was to were to accompany me back home, drop you right into that midsummer heat and humidity, you're drinking
in the air almost, you know.
Yeah.
You would feel it like that. That's the only reason why I'm feeling it. But now that I'm here a couple of days, it's really, I love being
It's like
here,
my
man.
first
This is
time going to
beautiful.
Mexico. I got off the plane and it's like an outside plane, so you get off like outside and you walk out
Yes.
like on those things. And I walked out and I was like,
Even the smell of the air
I
is
can't
different.
breathe.
Yeah.
The plane was air
When
conditioned
I
to the
got off the plane,
max.
I thought it was actually like those heaters that are on your face, like
And
the wind. And I'm like, no, this is the air.
muggy.
Yeah, the more the wind blows, the hotter it gets. One of those
Yeah.
things.
It's
Yeah.
crazy. Yes, yeah. So
But it's
you've
all
done some
good.
music videos too.
Yep.
Awesome. Or also, homegirl Paige was actually in one of your videos.
Hey,
shout out
shout
to
out
Paige.
Paige, shout out
yeah,
Paige.
she's got
Big
mad love
support.
for you. She's a great supporter.
Hey.
And then, so do you have any projects coming up or anything that we should stay tuned
for sure.
from
Like,
T-Loc?
as far as like the older videos, like they are down right now because we are doing like a brand relaunch. Like, cause it's been so long. They would like a lot of.
I was actually looking for your video and I couldn't find it. That's funny you said that. I was
Yeah.
like, where's the one with Paige?
I know a lot of people DM me and I shout out all my supporters. Like it will be back, but
Time to throw
just for
some new shit
exactly.
out there. Yeah.
And for the new listeners,
Right.
we don't want them to maybe they like the new song and they go look and find my old stuff. I just want to attach them to the new stuff.
Right,
right,
100%.
And we're gonna like the whole aesthetic of it, the whole brand of it is changed. So we want to kind of just push
Whole
this new-
rebranding.
Yeah, exactly.
Good
it's like
for
a
you.
full relaunch.
Yeah.
So we do have some music videos coming out though.
Yay,
That's
awesome. Looking forward to that. That's going to be dope. Yeah, your music is, I've always been a very big fan of your flows and your music. And I like what you speak about in your music. I'm a very big fan of words.
Yeah.
I mean, I do have my some beats that I listen to literally just for the beat. You could be mumbling and on lean, and I don't care because I'm just listening to it for the bass in my car. But the majority of the time I'm listening to music, you need to be telling me a story, and you need to, like, it needs to hit home for me. And definitely with your music that's 100% how I feel when I listen to your music.
Yeah, I
and I think a
appreciate
lot
that.
of your viewers and a lot of your fans feel that way from what I see on your posts and comments and stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of people feel you, which is super cool.
I mean, I try to just represent for only things I know. Like, I mean, I can act like I'm an American rapper and rap about certain situations that they go through and certain lifestyles that they live, but I'm just trying to rap and represent what goes on around here.
It
Only
wouldn't
thing
be
I
your
know.
Stuff then, man.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's just-
Absolutely.
You can't just, if I'm rapping about something else I don't know, and then, you know, like maybe that becomes a hit or that becomes what people like, then I'm going to have to be fake for the rest of my career. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'd rather just be me the whole time. If they like it, they like
Stay
it.
in your
And I feel
lane,
like
baby.
Exactly.
some nowadays rappers, that's what's happened.
Yeah.
They were like, let's fuck around, and then it fucking picked up, and now they're like, I have to pretend I sell crack and deal
Yeah.
and
Yeah, right.
shoot people for a living.
And
when
there's a
really
lot of rappers
I
out
don't
there
do
that
that at all.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, what
They
the
want to
fuck?
be shit.
Yeah, exactly.
that's-
Be
yeah.
true to who you are. Always
Exactly.
be yourself. Like,
I always feel
everyone's
like that.
gonna love you for you. If they don't,
That's
kick
how
rocks. Who
all
cares,
the whole
man?
shit began.
Exactly.
You know? It wasn't about a bunch of bullshit. You know, these are real dudes, man.
Totally. This is smoking fucking.
I told you once it gets
so
going. it
dope.
does.
This is
It does.
amazing.
It's true. Once it gets going,
It
it's like
starts, like,
Cody,
morphing.
man, you
It
are a
starts-
legend.
The end
Rolling
starts
legend.
growing and blossoming in front of you, man.
It's so cool.
See this shit? That's
So
great.
cool.
that flowers coming out of the ash.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's it's everything you're saying is like exactly the way I feel. Like,
Yeah.
just be
Good.
yourself.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care like if you rap about cleaning toilets and that's what you do.
Because
like,
you're a
I'll
janitor
show
and that's what you do.
love.
Yeah.
I'll show you love. You don't have to act like you're a gangster. You don't have to act like
100%.
you're something you're not because people love you for you. Especially this day and age. I feel like this day and age is what's different than my day. Well, not so my day, but years ago, is more people are just themselves. Like, more people just like be you, and there's more movement. I feel like back then everyone was trying to be hard and just trying to be something they weren't.
That was more or less
You know,
a condition
I agree
from which
with
it was
that.
born. You don't necessarily have to be that. You know, but
It's true.
that's what inspired these guys to do the thing that you guys do.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
But
exactly.
you don't have to come from that.
No.
You know,
It's
exactly.
true.
You come
It's
from
true.
wherever you come from and say
and that's what
whatever
it
the
is.
shit it
I
is you
think
got
like
to say.
the root of hip hop is
And that's
just
exactly-
representing yourself.
That's cool.
Well, think about when you become an expert at something. You're not all of you have the same background. Like, not every
That's right.
scientist has the same background, and they're an awesome scientist because they've all grown up the same way and they've all done the same thing. Has nothing to do with your talent at all.
No.
It makes up who you are individually, but like, how fucking weird would it be if like every single person had the same story to tell, the same background.
Right. How dull
that's
of an
fucking
existence
weird.
would that
That's
be?
so
You know,
weird.
You're very spot on with that.
Like, it's just, that's just how I feel. Like, that's what makes the world so interesting.
Yeah.
Is when I interact with different people and I meet different people and I have all these different guests, I'm learning different things about people, and I'm like, wow, like, this is what makes you you. This is so amazing.
sure.
Now I know who you are.
Right. And
I already followed you on social media, but that means nothing. Now I know who you are.
wouldn't have anything to talk about if things weren't such.
Yes,
Exactly.
Exactly, which I think is so fucking cool.
We wouldn't be sitting here talking. We'd just be looking at one another.
Yeah.
We already know this shit.
100%. Yes.
The best
exactly.
conversations are conversations that are about something like they're passionate about.
Yes.
Or else you just talk about nothing.
And
it's just
true.
trying to make small talk and just trying to create,
progressive
because
conversation.
you can't even be yourself because you're scared of what this person's gonna think. I can't conversate.
That's a
My
good
opinion.
debate.
So true.
You know what I mean?
That's the essence of a conversation is a good debate.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
and that's what moves things forward. Your opinion matters because it makes you think about the next thing beyond your opinion.
Exactly.
100%. I agree with that. So,
I even feel like it's like that with like just these days with weed. Like, let's say when I was like 12, 13, it was so much more like hard, and not a lot of people express their love and for marijuana and stuff, you know? Like now it's just, you can freely talk about it. Like I honestly feel like in the next 10, 15 years, like marijuana is going to replace alcohol as like the casual thing to
fucking
do.
damn right. Hope so.
Right? Like
Fucking right.
kids are coming up now not seeing, like a lot of the younger people I know don't even drink. Like straight up.
And
They don't
I
even
love
drink. You know what
that.
I mean?
I love
My
that.
kids don't really.
Yeah.
You know.
Just into like weed and whatever, but I feel like, especially with just the growth of dispensaries over the last like decade and stuff like that, it's just gonna be more normal than liquor stores. I feel like it, you know.
Yeah.
I hope.
Yeah.
It's coming along.
And
in
you
the
know what?
States,
People are like, oh,
you know?
let's put weed in liquor stores and sell weed in liquor stores. And you know what? At first I was like, no, don't do that. But now I'm like, go ahead, because weed will take over. Go ahead.
Right.
Put them in the liquor stores. But
You'll start
guaranteed
seeing more and
the
more
fucking
shelves
weed
with
sections
weed.
will be empty and the fucking liquor shelves will
There
be
you
full
go.
still.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
That's it.
Absolutely. 100%.
Hey, even as a child,
What
I
a
never
cool
really
thing that would
understood
be, right?
it.
Huh?
Yeah, let it prove
If like
itself.
20, 10, 15 years from now, everybody goes like, man, what were they thinking with that shit? You know?
Yeah.
We're cleaning our cars and engines with this shit, and they're drinking it.
Yeah. Straight up.
For real.
You know, shit like that.
That's the way they'll probably think too. Like,
It's
what the
true.
fuck were we doing all those years?
What
You know?
the fuck? And they took this beautiful little thing and held it hostage for all those 80
I
some
know.
plus
So
odd years.
stupid.
They're gonna think what caveman shit was going on, even that.
And they have no good reason for it, too. That's what I love about Pineapple Express, the movie. They make fun of it at the beginning. It's
Yeah.
like no reason to call it illegal at all.
Even when I was young, I was like, yo, I've done like all the crazy shit in the world when I'm all hammered and drinking alcohol. But I'm like, what have I done crazy when I'm smoking weed? Like,
Right.
Right? Absolutely.
Munchies?
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know what
I can think of a
Inspiration
few-
for good things, not
I couldn't even
bad things.
I couldn't even write one sentence without weed. Like honestly, it won't come out right. Music doesn't come out right. I can't even listen to music right without weed. Like
Yeah.
that's just it. Man.
And have you ever written something and then
Yes.
reread it when
Oh,
you're
man.
drunk?
Do I hear
and then
that?
like reread it when you're sober? You're like, what the hell was
Yeah.
I thinking?
If you can even
Okay,
read it, right?
Let's smoke a joint and redo this.
Yeah.
But I gotta agree with you, dude, 100%. I wrote this book. I was stoned every single minute, every word that went down in that bitch. I was
Because it gets
stoned
everything
because
flowing.
It does.
Yeah, well, you know what? It's already in here, but it takes the thought process to begin to go, yeah, oh yeah, I remember that. And then I start thinking about it a little bit deeper, and boom, next thing you know, there it is.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, it's
For
great.
real, 100%.
And then
It's
every
a
story
huge
leads into each
mental
other.
process going on here.
Yeah.
Other than the medicinal aspect as well. That's
Yeah.
a
Of course,
beautiful
shout out
thing.
all the people who
Yes.
use it medicinally.
Absolutely, yeah.
Uh-huh. Let's not
Absolutely.
forget this yet.
I don't think there's a difference between medical marijuana and recreational marijuana,
No.
but I believe there's a difference in the person who's using it, if they're using it for recreational purposes or they're using it medically.
And responsibly.
To each their own, right? But no, there isn't a difference between the two bud itself. It's fucking bud. It's
No, yeah.
one bud in itself. It's not going to change. But
Yes.
For
And
sure.
that in and of itself is a little miracle. That you can make that diversity
feel
between
those
it having
terps in my
being no
nose.
diversity whatsoever.
Yeah.
Or distinction rather, however you choose to say it. It's just an all around fine ass little plant, man. Even that little bundle thingy you got wrapped around there is from its cousin.
It's crazy.
I know. It's insane, honestly. To actually tell you the truth, like even
It's-
since I was a little kid, I always
it's
thought,
got
like,
some
why
shit
is there
going
so
on.
much like like restrictions on marijuana. You know what I mean? Like I've seen
I don't understand
documentaries
it
like
either.
I'm pretty sure everyone's seen this little documentary on CNN about the little girl who was having seizures and those little pills helped her out, but where their state was from, they couldn't get it, and they
Right.
were they had to move states.
Marijuana migrants.
But it's like, aren't those facts that she actually got better with those pills? Like,
I know.
what the
It's
fuck
just
are we
a story
talking
on-
about here?
It's just a story on the news, and then it's
Yeah,
just back to
you would-
normal, back to being illegal and putting people in jail.
Because it has no basis in the actual science. Because it's in the States anyways, it's a Schedule I narcotic, which means you can't study it. So it is what they say it is.
Yeah.
Whoever they may be.
Which is
exactly.
so dumb.
Man, because everybody in the culture that's doing what the fuck we're doing right now knows the truth.
They don't want us to enjoy this magical plant.
100%.
Because then then they start talking about dollars and cents, and the patients get lost in the mix of it all, and they forget what it's really all about.
Yeah.
And that's what it'll boil down to if it gets on their side, guaranteed.
This is what I've been hearing here since I've been here, and in us in the States, we view it kind of ignorantly. Wow, you guys got it really going on, man. This is cool as shit. I couldn't wait to get here. But, of course you got, this is a beautiful thing, what we're doing now. But then I'm hearing the dark side of it. What your government's trying to cannibalize this shit,
And all the raids and innocent
and
people
make it
going
into
to
a
jail.
machine
Mhm.
and take mom and pop and stick them in a old folks home or some shit. Fuck that.
Yeah, it's wrong. It's definitely wrong.
that's how it'll
but we're
become, for
fighting
sure.
every day for it.
Yeah.
Amen. Good for you guys.
Absolutely, and
Free
that's
to
why we
weed.
have our festivals. Like we have Cannabis Day, our protestivals, I should say.
Yeah.
We've got Cannabis Day and we've got 420,
I like
right? There
that.
are big protestival days where we all get together and we make sure that everyone knows that this is
Do you-
what we want. It shouldn't be illegal. Don't be putting people in prison for it. Do not take people's lives away for it, and let
I got
us
a
do
good
whatever
one
the
for
fuck
you later
we
about
want.
that one.
Right?
Amen,
Like.
yeah.
You
So-
guys can
I
drink
know,
your
how can you
beers
bring
in the
someone
beer
to
garden.
prison
We
for
can smoke
weed?
our
I
fucking
really still
weed.
don't get it.
I'll tell you how.
Like, I know how.
But I would
I mean-
while we're talking about this, I would ask you, when you're doing your thing, man, do you bring this culture along with you for the ride, or
not as much
Good
as I should.
question, Tim.
Not
I like
as much
that.
as I should. I definitely should. I mean, more when it gets more awareness on my music and there's more eyes
focus
and
on
ears.
yourself, and then
Exactly. I still gotta
that's a
build the
common sense.
You know,
The
my base.
empire. You
Yeah.
gotta bring your build your
your
empire.
voice.
To that,
Your voice.
man.
Your
That's-
voice is more powerful when it's like more people are listening to it. I don't
I
want to
agree.
say
Yes.
some shit and only my fans heard it.
When
They're like, "Oh, we were with you anyway on that."
you have a larger platform, rather.
Exactly.
Yeah, so build
And
your
I
platform
wouldn't
and
be
stand on it. Very
be
cool.
hesitant to talk about it when I had a larger
I
platform.
did.
for
I
sure.
do the same thing, man. This didn't happen overnight.
Yeah.
This is almost 10 years of shit.
But
going
did
on.
No,
you
I
have-
see this shit. This shit is
Did you
legendary.
have weed smoking in your videos?
Always.
Yeah.
Always.
See, that is a way
Well,
of
there you
being an
go.
activist in itself. That itself, right there, is
Yeah.
being an
Interviews,
activist.
anything. I smoke weed.
100%.
Well, that's- there you
showing
go.
That's
support,
totally
you know
what
I mean?
that is, showing activism. I
Yep.
love that. That's showing love to the
It's right in
cannabis
their
community.
face, man. That's
Totally.
cool.
Yeah.
And to be able to do that, because where we come from, wow. But we just did as Florida as a state, and there's 26 or 29 states, and I lose count. They're dropping real quick. Florida had become a medically legal state just last November. Now we're just getting our baby shoes now, as it were. So we're not this yet. We're far from this. This takes some time, takes some doing, some initiative like y'all got. And that's what we see in the States. What you
Yeah.
guys have done.
Yeah. It's
And
funny.
I say
Grass is
you, I
always
say you
greener on
guys,
the other side.
everybody. They're you guys.
Yeah. Well, so anyways, I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but I've got this really wicked signed copy of a really wicked book, which is pretty much your life story.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
This
so it's
is-
called The Rise and the Fall of a Marijuana Empire Saltwater Cowboy, Tim McBride, who is sitting right next to me. And I want to take the rest of the time to just kind of get to know you a little bit more.
Sure.
And let's hear some of your stories. I've got tons of people here who are probably really stoked to hear some of these stories. They've
And
all been waiting.
I'm definitely one of them.
Yeah, we've all been waiting to
Okay,
hear these stories.
sure.
So, I mean, let's
Where would you
start.
like to
Oh,
begin
oh,
with the-
oh.
There we go, my
And,
man.
and you can hear Tim's Tales every 2 weeks on Expert Choice live every Thursday at 4:20 on Pod.tv.
Ooh,
yeah,
shameless
but-
plug.
Wink, wink, wink.
Loved it.
My man, Craig
Awesome.
X.
Yes.
He's a badass.
He is the
too.
man.
Yes, he is.
All right. So,
Yeah. So where do we begin?
where do we
At the
begin?
beginning, I guess.
So, first of all, you are not Canadian.
No, I'm not.
No, you are not. Where are you from?
I am born in North Carolina,
All right.
raised a bit in North Carolina. Into the Midwest then. My father went from the 82nd Airborne in the Army in North Carolina to into sales, and we followed him up into the Midwest, into southern Wisconsin. That's where I went to Wisconsin, into high school for 4 years. And the journey began from there. And that was I graduated in 1976. Yeah, right? Yeah. So I've been around a little while.
The good old days.
Yeah, the good old days. But you know what? One of these days you're gonna
I
look back
can't
and say
say that. I'm not allowed to say that, am I?
You'll look back one day and say these were the good old days.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
so
I
you're
love
just
it.
perpetuating what I've already begun, in a matter of
I love
speaking.
it.
You know, in both aspects, in this culture
Right.
as well. You know, in the weed culture as well. But yeah, no, and I'm from Wisconsin. I kind of, I'm going to just skip briefly through the romp. There's so much in here that I'm not going to give I can't give it all away. There's so much backstory.
No, you
and shit
have
like
to
that.
purchase the book.
But yeah,
clearly.
but I went from there out to LA, Hollywood. I worked there for a couple of years. It's an interesting, bit of a background story how I got to there. And for 2 years, I lived and worked in Hollywood. Lived in Encino. Came back home. I was home in Wisconsin for more than a week or so. And my best friend that I grew up living next door to, he calls me one morning and says, "Dude, I'm gonna move to Florida. My brother-in-law actually runs a fish house down there, and one of the fishermen's got a job for me on his boat. You want to go?" And I said, "Yeah, fuck yeah, why not?"
Let's go
So
fishing.
I packed my shit in my car and didn't even give much of a notice to the place I worked, and got my job back at that time. And anyway, so I followed his ass down to a little island called Chokoloskee down in Everglades. And Everglades City and Chokoloskee, actually 2 little islands together, connected by a causeway, and the total population of just under 500 people.
That's it.
That's it, man.
That's
so
crazy.
we pull up onto the island. Chokoloskee Island itself is through a causeway that connects both islands together.
Is that
It's
the
120
picture that's in the book?
Yes, that's the
that
picture.
island.
Yeah, the island. That's
Okay,
Chokoloskee.
yeah.
It's like that's 129 acre island. That's all it is.
Wow.
And that's where we dropped, and that's where we landed. And he went to work right away on the boat. And as the first week or so that I was there, you start hearing the stories about smuggling and shit and what's going on, because everybody's talking. You eventually you hear this shit. But until you see some shit like that, that's all it is. Yeah, right.
It's true.
Whatever. And then,
Yeah.
I'll skip up a little bit. There comes a vacancy on the boat that my buddy's working on, and he says, "Come on, man, let's go. I got a job for you on the boat." So I said, "Hell yeah." He went to introduce me to Captain Willie, who you'll meet in the book.
Captain Willie, I love
Captain
it.
Willie. So I met him, cool, got the job, blah, 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 whatever. And so the first day we go out to pull stone crab traps. Now, this is bust-ass work, man. I mean, it'll make a big boy out of you if you stick around. Most guys will do this 1, maybe 2 seasons. I mean, it's that much of a bitch.
Is it hard work or
Yes,
is it
it's
tedious work?
hard ass
Which
work.
season is
Hard-ass
it?
work.
Yes. Pardon me?
Which season was it?
This is for stone crabs. Now,
Oh,
stone
okay,
crabs
okay.
are a delicacy. They're a world-known delicacy, only found in those southern waters in the Florida Bay and around southwest Florida.
Yeah.
Okay.
The only place in the world they can be caught.
Okay.
So, and we were pulling, an average trap is about yay wide by yay long and this deep, but there's about 40 pounds or so, 45 pounds or so of concrete in the bottom of it. So it'll sink to the bottom.
Oh,
So
so
these
it's
fuckers weigh about
heavy.
50 to 60 pounds apiece.
Oh my god.
And they're on a string with a buoy on it. We have to catch the buoy and do the thing and pull them. Like, have you ever seen the show Deadliest Catch?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's exactly
That's
like
exactly
that.
what I'm imagining right
Exactly
now.
like
Actually,
that.
literally
That's the
exactly
picture
what
in
I
my
was
head.
picturing
Only
in my
that
head.
big wheel that's spinning that catches the rope and pulls the trap.
There's none of that.
Ours
You are
is
that.
littler.
Oh, I'm like, you were that.
Yeah, no,
you were
God,
that
yeah.
guy. Just
Yeah, I'm doing this shit. Oh, yeah. But the only difference is it's not it's easier than what it is they do. They pull maybe 70 traps in a day's time.
Right.
In that period, we pull 700.
Whew.
So the guy on the left side or the stern on the rear pulls 350, and I pull 350. Because when I'm dropping one, he's picking one up. When he's dropping his, I'm picking one up. So it's all day until we get 700 done and we go home.
My God.
So I'm fixing to go do this work, right? And I'm thinking, I'm getting the lowdown. I'm getting just like you're getting, being told, you know?
Yeah.
You get in a boat about 3 a.m. because it takes a little while for this big-ass boat to get there. There's a picture of it in the book as well. And so I get out there, and I wake up, and the bunk is inside the wheelhouse where the captain is. And I wake up, and the sun's up, and we're dead stopped. And I look out of the bunk, and he's got a big grin on his face. Willie, the captain.
Is that the boat there?
That's the one. That's the one.
Captain
That's
Willie.
me on the back, and my friend Clark. We
Let's
moved
show
there
off
with.
just that picture there. Can we
So
see that?
I look up at Captain Willie, and he's got a big ass grin on his face, and he goes, "Timmy, we're not going to go pull stone crab traps today." He says, "We're going to go offshore tonight and unload a pop boat from Colombia." I said, "Okay, man."
Fuck yeah!
Fuck yeah, why not?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so we fucked around that whole day and went offshore, and my first time doing this shit was 15 tons of shit from the northern coast of Colombia.
God damn.
30,000.
First time.
30,000 pounds
Damn,
in
man. What a
one
way to break your cherry,
night?
man.
Yeah, the one night. Yeah.
Holy shit.
So our
30,000
part of the
pounds
job
in one
was
fucking
to
night.
Yeah, one fucking night.
That's just the first time.
That
The
was-
numbers get higher.
Yeah, well, and I go out
outrageous.
to so we do our thing, which I'll get to how it works and shit. And we stayed out that night, came back early in the morning, like which is not unusual. And we get some sleep, and we go back out like we're gonna go pull traps again. Okay, we're gonna really go do it this time. We stayed out again that day, all day long, fucked off, and pulled almost 20 tons the next night.
Jesus.
I'm like, holy shit, man, this is fucking wild. But at that time, I was just going along with the flow, man. I didn't know any different. I was a kid. I was 21 years old.
Now, what does pulling pounds mean? In case
I'm
no
sorry?
one knows what that
What is
means.
that?
What does pulling pounds mean? So, like, what did you have to do? Like, to help? Like, you just unloaded a boat, basically?
Oh yeah.
into-
The mothership
Right.
would come from whatever country it is that
Correct.
it's coming from,
Yeah.
and they would come from every corner of the Caribbean, whether it be Jamaica or Central America or Belize or Panama, but primarily Colombia
Okay.
and the northern coast of Colombia.
Okay.
And these freighters, these shrimp boats, or whatever they may be, whoever's
They were
been
all
hired
different.
to run that load,
All right.
depending on how much it is. And I've seen ships with as much as 200,000 pounds of shit on them
Like,
at one
these are
time.
like just from like outdoor grow-ups, like.
These are like from grows in the mountains,
Yeah,
and up and as far as you can look at that wall, dude. And imagine looking through a mountain pass as far as you can see,
Wow.
and seeing shit like that.
Yo, that wall is crazy.
Insane.
So we were virtually emptying the mountains in this regions in Colombia.
Right.
I mean, virtually.
Yeah.
So those 2 nights I was somewhere near 80,000 pounds, and I got paid what was called rookie pay. I got $5,000 for each night. So now that this Captain Willie figures, he knows he's got a couple of guys that he can trust and that are willing to work, and the only reason my ass got that job was because of Clark. You'll read about in the book, who I went down there with. His sister married an islander. Her husband was a local. He ran the fish house, so everybody knew where I came from. They knew I grew up. I grew up next door to him. Her husband would come to visit in summers, and I was a kid, man. He knew me. So there was no FBI, no secret agent shit, you know? So we're going to work this fucking kid, man. So there I go. They hijacked me and took me out there. It was like a tongue-in-cheek kind of thing. We take him out there, and then we'll tell him what's going on.
Oh
that
my
kind
God,
of
I
shit,
love
you know?
it.
And I went, yeah,
So
fuck yeah, man,
cool.
let's do this shit. So when I say rookie pay, now that Captain Willie knew he had a couple of guys so he was ready to jump in and go to work because there was shit going on. But he had this other clown he needed to get off of there so I could get on. So they worked his ass to fucking death, man. Because this is ball busting work, dude. You're handling 350, 60-pound fucking traps a day, and if you're not catching, and the captain yells out of the wheelhouse, pick them the fuck up. You turn back around and start, and you pick them up, and you coil them, and you stack them on the deck. All 700 of them. You take them somewhere else, and you put them all out. 350 of them in one string, which is about 14 or 15 miles long. Then you skip over about 50 yards or 100 yards, and you
come
bring
back.
350 the same length back.
That's crazy.
So you're not twice as far away from home where you began.
Yeah.
And we have 10 strings because we have 7,000 of these fucking things that we get around every 10 days. We get back around, so they have a soak, they call it.
And those things is
Time
heavy
to
as shit
catch.
too, huh?
So these boats, the boat that you saw, by its very nature, designed to haul these crab traps. It's perfect for hauling bales of fucking weed, dude. You can stack that shit the fuck on there. So now Willie knows he's got a crew. He's ready to work. We jump into the mix, and now we're working. Fuck. 2, 3, sometimes 4 nights a week, man, doing this shit. My pay went from, now it's based on the size of the load. And what I didn't realize at that time, until I started working, is those were relatively small loads. Now we're doing 30 tons, 60,000 pounds a night. Not just us. There's another boat and 2 with us.
That is insane.
We're out there kind of fucking around all tied up all day together. And we got 3 decks of boats that we can run and fuck around with and swim and jump and dive all day long and fuck off until it's time to haul pot.
Yeah.
Then we all approach the mothership and get what we can fucking get. It starts, to answer your question. You run up there, and typically we would tie up to the vessel.
Okay.
Whether it be a big ship or whatever, depending on how much shit we're getting off of it. Jump up on there and help the crew on the vessel get it out of the hold. Because these ships are big, man.
Okay.
And to get those bales from where they are in these holes up through the cargo hatch, it's a good way sometimes. So we would build pyramids out of the shit. Out of the bales of pot.
Okay.
And guys would stand on the peak of it, and another guy would stand halfway down, and we'd bucket brigade this fucking shit to the guy on top.
Mm-hmm.
And he would lift it like that, and a couple of guys on deck would pull him up and throw him on deck.
You guys were like little ants.
Dude.
Just working it.
On a marijuana pyramid.
And we're talking, fuck yeah. And it's dusty and it's hot, so we're taking shifts from deck down below, because the engines are running, the boat's never shut off. And there's so much fucking weed down here. It starts doing like what a pile of mulch will do in the summer. It'll self-combust. Starts getting hot. Getting warm.
Oh, God.
This is what happens to weed when you bundle it and compact and you throw it in a fucking pile, dude. It does that same shit. So we're getting this hot as fuck. So not only were we getting them off and onto the deck of the mothership, which a load the size that we were accustomed to using, loading now, 30 tons, 40 tons. One night we did 55 tons. Let's see if we can fucking do it. That's 110,000 pounds, by the way.
110,000 pounds in one night.
Math here.
That's
Then you get it on deck. So we're talking about 60-pound pieces, 1,000 of them, 1,200 of them. We've already moved them up off on deck. Now we got to get on our boats, and they start throwing them down to us. And they're coming, and we're moving, and we're stacking, and we get ours shit. We get as much as we think we can get, and the next boat's getting his, too, because there's probably 6 guys that came off of that mothership, and they're all 6 of them are throwing shit on our boats, and we're just taking it and taking it and taking it. So now, like I said, I'm getting paid according to the size of the load. So I went from making $5,000 a night to anywhere from $25,000 to $75,000, even at times $100,000 a night.
And that was like way back then.
And this is back in
1980.
the 80s.
1980.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I worked at that level through 1984-ish till the end of 1984.
Did you ever buy any toys?
Oh, fuck. You know what? That was the thing about it. We were kids, and I was described by the U.S. government as a 3rd-generation pot hauler. And quite simply what that means is us kids, and I mean my buddies and I, learned from their fathers and uncles and older cousins, and they in turn learned how to pot haul from the generation before them. So the story that I tell in this book is not a boring ass statistical romp through the fucking war on drugs kind of shit. This is my life growing up as a kid into this industry, plus where I come from, in my humble beginnings, and nothing anything dysfunctional in my life drove me to becoming a pot hauler and outlaw and crazy ass shit like that. I'm not gonna blame it on anything. It's fun ass shit I did. In retrospect, because now that I'm out of prison and all, but we'll get to that later. But so now I'm making those sums of money. But we were taught not to get stupid, not to be extravagant. Now for instance, I could spend within a reason, because stone crabbing itself was not only was it bust ass fucking work and then make a big fucking boy out of you, but it's very lucrative business when you're on the catch and you're catching.
So you can have a little bit of money in like
a little bit.
Yeah.
You can't flex too crazy though.
No.
So you could pay your
I'm talking about making 20 in those days. Talking about if you had a good catch, you could make as much as $4,000 a week.
And that's in the 80s.
You're averaging 2,500, 2,000, 2,500 and shit like that. That's in the 80s when 13,000 or 15,000 bucks a year was damn good money.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I know, like
so we're making really good money on the side. So I had a Corvette.
Yeah.
I had a Corvette parked outside of my trailer like everyone else had on the island. There was a few houses and shit that some of the founding generational people had, that built houses there. But where the difference was made, as you're talking about, was when you open the door and walk inside my trailer. They got the badass shit inside there, man. You got the nice carpet,
It's
the
all
leather
about
furniture.
what you make it on the inside.
You got the nice essential air going on in there, man.
Hell yeah.
And the new appliances and a badass fucking stereo with the Bose 901 speakers just fucking cranking and shit.
Bose in the 80s, man. That's flex right there.
Yeah, man. So, it was shit like that. And then we got really very good at learning how to spend money and not accumulate shit. Because I'm telling you, I had a conversation with a guy one day, and he's like, "Tell me about some of the bad times you might have had, Timmy." I'm like, "Dude, I'm making I'm 21, 22 years old. I'm averaging $100,000 a week, man. I ain't having too many fucking bad times, man." I started laughing at him. Think about it, man. So that being said, it's, you get really good at learning how to fucking spend money without accumulating shit. So we would go to, and this kid further on.
One night out kind of thing.
Yeah, when I start making the, money like that, you go in town and you just buy stupid shit. You go into a club and you take the tab for the whole fucking club.
Oh my.
There may be 300 people in the damn place. I'll take the tab, for the night, just to piss away the fucking money. But this is later on, But I don't want to jump ahead too far.
It's like some Miami Vice
You
shit
make it
going
fast,
on
you blow
over
it
here.
fast.
But, more to your point.
I'll take the tab. All 420 people.
More to your point, we were just kids, and and it was a family and generational thing, and it wasn't anything like most people would think when you think about pot hauling. When people say drug smuggling, well, you know what? Fuck you. It's not drug smuggling. We were pot hauling.
Mm-hmm.
And they say, well, now you're a criminal. I'm not a criminal. I'm a fucking outlaw. It was your law, and I didn't necessarily fucking agree with it.
Yeah.
So, I'm not criminal because, we had our own opinion and we justified the shit in our own way.
Exactly.
And the crazy thing about it was these people that were teaching us this discipline with the money and this thing and this, and we didn't hold any animosity or hold it anything like, damn it, I want to go, it wasn't any shit like that because this is how we grew up, how we were raised, and I say we, because I was still a kid at that time, growing up with my buddies, man, and they were the parents. And they were like my parents away from home kind of shit.
Yeah.
And everybody's family, everybody knows somebody. And the family was there generationally. The founders were there in the late 1800s before there was they were getting their mail and supplies and stuff from a sailboat from Key West at that time. And Key West is almost 100 miles away.
Yeah.
Because we're in the boonies, man. I'm not talking about city shit. This is out in if you Google or whatever it is you do in Canada, I don't know what your search engines are.
Google. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Just do a Google search of 10,000 Islands Everglades and check out the images and imagine this is our backyard. This is where we fished. This is where we skied. This is where we fucked off and dodged one another. And this is where we outrun the law. And when you get an idea of the images, and if you just take a look at the picture of the island, you can see in the background a bit of the barrier.
I want to show that actually.
And it spans probably
That's crazy.
10,000.
When a little bit of a
when they say 10,000
of what we mean by this.
It's literally 10,000 fucking islands. A maze of mangrove forest islands.
Yeah.
Just to get a little glimpse of it right there. But if you Google and take the images, then you'll understand better the terrain in which we were able to work. And that's why this made it so easy for us. I say easy, but...
It looks like almost just as much water as land.
But this,
That's
this
crazy.
extends way out beyond. You can hardly see it. And this is probably about 2 miles.
Yeah.
But from here to here extends nearly 20. So there's 10,000. That's a labyrinth that we could come in over here. We could come in over here. And take any path that we like, and you run your ground if we chose to. And I've got a cool story in there about having done that. I did that to U.S. Customs one night, ran them a fucker ground. I knew right where the bottom was, and these assholes had no fucking clue.
I love it. You're
Come on,
you're
man.
Like, bring it. I
turned around and made a U-turn. That's a cool story. Maybe we'll have time to we'll talk about that. But just back into the kid thing. Growing up like that, but it was it was just what we knew. It was just how we were. And those size of loads and that kind of shit was just. And my friends were thinking. When I started riding, it's like, why do you want to? Who would want to hear about that shit? It was just something that we did. I'm like, well, you'd be surprised, man. So
crazy.
It's like a movie.
So we had that discipline and that.
You should
Somebody's trying to
totally
hit you with the
Yeah,
movie
well,
rights.
I can't give a whole bunch away, but yeah, I've got some negotiations right now.
A
to make
movie
a
wouldn't
television.
even
I
do
could.
it
But when you
justice.
saying
we
it, I'm like
started-
picturing everything. Like
It wouldn't do it
this guy's
justice.
saying,
a
I see it in my
movie.
head.
Well, see, that was the thing about it, and you're spot on about that too, as well. Because when I started talking with people 2.5 years ago or so, maybe in 3 now, I don't fucking know. I've been doing this shit for so fucking long. We started talking about motion picture. So I'm on the phone with a writer and 2 writers and a producer and my my artist attorney, and I'm in Florida, so there's like 5 of us on the phone, and we're talking story design, and I start giving like I'm sitting here giving you backstory. We could I guarantee you, we could still be here tomorrow at this very same time if you just let me go.
Oh, absolutely. I don't doubt that. And I could sit here the whole time.
This is the thing of it. So I start telling these people over months, in a period of months, we're having phone conversations. I'm giving all this backstory, and right in the middle of this whole thing, about a couple months later, they're like, "Wait a minute. This is not a motion picture. This is a fucking television series. There's too much here, man. These guys are getting cramped, man. They're tired of writing notes and shit."
HBO need to hit this man up.
Yes, absolutely.
Because what you read in here is just this much of fucking this much. I mean this much. There's 40 years of history to tell, and that's what I'm saying. This spans a period of 40 years and 3 generations of not getting caught.
That's
until
crazy.
1983 and 1984, and we'll talk about that, when the whole fucking shit started to go down. And that's how I was able to move into to being, what people like to say, out running the show or being the boss or whatever like that. I got to say, when they say it takes, you've heard the expression, it takes a village. Have you heard this? Well, it takes a village, man. And so I can't take props for everything, because it takes anywhere from, depending on the size of the load, as many as 50 people, maybe 60 people to make one of these fucking jobs work. From offshore or from Colombia to Miami.
Yeah.
And I'll explain the process to you, because I don't want to confuse everything that we're talking about and change. You get me going off shit. I forget what I'm talking about, because I'm all fucked up and shit, which is kind of cool.
I love it.
But so there was discipline and kids and family and and non-violent nature in which this was all done, which makes it a cool story too. So
I like that.
They went the television series route, so that's what we're working on now, and I'm in negotiation, final negotiation for that shit.
Really?
So
That I would
bring that fucking shit.
I
on.
look forward to that when that does happen.
Yeah.
'Cause
Some very cool people are involved in it. Actually, two big networks in the States that I'm sure you're aware of, but I won't divulge right now. But they just love the fucking shit out of it, man. Which I get that. I get that a lot.
I know. I'm just sitting here,
but,
just like
and back to the
great.
part of, I was talking about, growing up in nonviolent and stuff like that. There were no guns and nothing, no shit like that. No back room, dimly lit fucking deals going on with Cubans and guns and fucking what, the shit that you imagine in movies and fuck, nothing could
what
be.
they want you to think.
Oh my God! You know what? Nothing
like,
could be further.
It's nothing like that.
Well, in some instances, yeah, sure. Cocaine cowboys and the guys that were fucking Miami up with that shit. Yeah, there was
Cocaine's
some
a
of that shit
different.
going on. And then you had your
subject
odd
altogether.
fucking loose cannon on deck, the odd pot holler, and I don't take anything away from anybody that ever fucking hauled a load of pot. We weren't the only ones that ever did it. I don't take that. I don't say that. I'm not trying to say that with this. All I'm saying is that we were the only ones, and I say we, us in this little town and my friends and people that we grew up with, were the only ones able to do it over 40 years and 3 generations and integrate it into a way of life spanning that period, without anybody finding or knowing what the fuck's going on, and the astronomical amounts that were fucking happening. It was just so hard to believe without validation from law enforcement. This would have just been like, yeah, right, one of them things.
So answer me this: how many people got hurt in this process?
You mean along all the?
Yeah, like along all these years of you doing all of this, how many people got hurt?
Nobody.
Thank you. Nobody.
You know what the thing with too is that and that was, it was used, this all this potholing, all this work and making this money, it was used against us as punishment. If we fought amongst ourselves and shit, one of these guys' dads or uncles or whatever would say, "Hey, you fuckers, you don't work for a couple of jobs."
Mm-hmm.
That's like saying you don't get the next $75,000. or some shit like that. Yeah, we're okay. Shit like that. That was our punishment,
Yeah,
man. You don't
I'll
get to make
smarten
no
the
fucking
fuck
money.
up then.
Because it was quite literally after it got going sometimes, it was like, okay, well, you sit this one out, you guys, you three, and let these guys work here. We'll catch you on the next one, which will probably be tomorrow night anyways.
Exactly.
And it was spreading it around just like that.
Spreading the love.
And because it took so many people to make a job work, and if you'd like me to go through that process, I'll gladly do it. Because, it's not very complicated whatsoever, but there's a lot of safety measures designed within it, and you'd be surprised how really simple it is in its design, I guess you would say.
Right.
A dance that we do with it. But the crazy thing about it, it's
Money dance.
what we do with regards to it, and I don't want to get too far behind, with the growing up in that part of it and the nonviolent part of it, but that's exactly what it was, because and even a lot of the older generation, the first and second, they didn't even smoke the shit, man. They were doing it for the fucking cash, because the government was pulling their fucking shit with the boundaries of the national park, and now all of a sudden these old timers that have used to hauling, hunting gator and hunting birds for feathers or curlew for dinner or shit like that, and different types of fish, they're saying, well, you can only catch so many this size, you can only catch them at certain times of the year, and they're putting restrictions on what used to be their fucking livelihood.
Yeah.
Now take any one of those fucking assholes and drop them off down there and say, make a fucking living, cocksucker, and feed your family. See if you can do it. I bet you can't, and they won't. They'll fail. But they're taking that, and this is what they were doing. So these old potholders said, all right, you know what, fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck you. We got a different way of doing this shit now. So they started making the fucking jack, hauling pot, and there's a story in there as how those generations got started.
Yeah.
But the more the focus my publisher wanted to be on me, so I cut a lot of writing out of this thing. That's why there's just so much to tell, man.
That's a good little background of it, though. Like,
Right. So, and that being said, these guys just, use it as punishment. No guns, no violence and shit like that. So, skipping ahead, we get into about the mid 80-ish, and I've been in it now since 79. We're in 1983 comes what they called Operation Everglades. United States government and almost every branch of law enforcement under what we call the United States Treasury, which is every branch of law enforcement in the United States, was in on this fucking shit, man. And over 250 of them, here they come, into town and into Naples, and they shut everything down. They were going to start grabbing people. But what they didn't understand, or what we knew at the time, was about a week before they were coming, we knew they were coming because the older generations had their ways of doing shit, and I ultimately had mine, and I'll get to some of that, if we, don't have too much time going on here, but it wasn't very successful on the government's part. Some of the guys had to self-surrender, and they thought they were going to come down and take down a whole bunch of fucking people. Well, it didn't happen that way because we knew they were coming. So they must
have been so sad.
Yeah, well, it was like, it was stupidity. They had the roadblocks and the guys with shotguns, and and they had their suits, and it was like so commando shit, right?
Oh my God.
So almost a year to the day in 1984, here they come again. We know they're coming, so a lot of the guys just self-surrendered and shit. Fuck it, here we go, and so this time they were a little bit more successful. They got a lot of the first and second generation guys, and only a few of us third generation guys that had like a couple of three brothers who were sons of one of the second generation. They were too close, too visible, because there were so fucking many. We're talking about half the town's involved, and there's just under 500 fucking people.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of people that didn't get seen, But there had been an article written a few weeks after this operation, a very popular magazine in the States, and I don't know if it's been here in Canada, called Life magazine. But it was a centerfold 18-page article in one of the most popular magazines in the United States that got this attention. And when that happened, the article was alluding to the fact that the town was left of mostly women and children because all the men were gone. And that's pretty much what happened.
Oh, man.
They put all these people in prison, and that left us kids behind, right? So I'm not going to give too much away about how these guys came and found me. These Cuban dudes in Miami come and found me. Because it was the second and first generations and the older dudes that they'd always dealt with. Only 5 of the brothers were making these deals because And that's the only people they ever needed to see because of how the operation worked. And I'll tell you that in a minute. But these guys came to see me. They found me. They came looking for me. And about 3 weeks, they find me. They recognized my face. They only knew Tim and the face. That's all they ever knew. And I don't want to tell you too much because that part's in the book. But anyways, I opened the door. I was gonna knock. I opened the door, and there's this fucking guy George that I had met months ago. He goes, Timmy, he goes. And I'm like, hey, George, what the fuck are you doing here, man? He goes, dude, we got work to do, man. He says, can you do this shit? And I said, fuck yeah, why not? You know, because the mechanism or the infrastructure was still in place. All us kids that were doing the fucking work, we were still there. You know, and I said, yeah,
Why not
yeah,
take
man.
over?
I just went, like, blurted it out. Yeah, sure, you know, like that.
Yeah.
But I knew it by that time. I had been doing it for so many years that I knew each part of the process. Like I said, I'll get to that. And I said, sure, yeah, why not? But all I had to do at that point was figure out what the adults did beyond what I knew. Where
Right.
Columbia? Where am I going to buy this shit? I mean, what the fuck did I just say? You know. So, but it didn't come easily. But in a manner of speaking, this is a kind of a Forrest Gump kind of a shit that I went through my whole entire life. Just all of a sudden there's the answer. All of a sudden there's the answer. Well, I inherited a connection in Colombia, the guy I call the boss, from one of the other generations. I will leave that now. I will leave that person alone. I won't name that name. But
Fair enough.
I had that part covered. I had the work part of it, going and getting it here and taking it to Miami, all that shit figured out. I knew how to do all of that. What I didn't know was what price to charge them. But now, having done every position and gotten paid for all of that, I just reverse engineered this shit. And I went, well, I get paid this for that, this for that. I need this many boats. And I put it all together, and I came up with a price. $175 a pound. I'll go to Colombia. I'll purchase your shit for you, and I'll bring it in. I'll ship it across the Caribbean. Mm-hmm. I'll smuggle it through into the United States, into our little island. I'll put it into every van and car and truck on the fucking island. And I'll ship it to your ass wherever you want in Miami for $175 a pound.
$175.
Yeah, however much you want. I'll go buy it. I'll do the whole fucking thing for that. If you want any part of that, if you want to send your boat to go get it, for instance, I'll make the arrangements and buy the shit, and you can send your boat to go get it. My crew will unload it when you get out here offshore of it, and then I'll put it on your doorstep. I'll do that for $145 a pound. You'll take that Caribbean trip out of my hands. So,
Yeah.
you know, I'm flexible, only two different ways. But mostly they would have me do the whole fucking thing. They didn't want to, you know. So I would do that. I'd make the
Paying
$175.
$145, you might as well just pay $175.
Right. So, you know,
$30.
I said, yeah, cool, okay, whatever. So I got it figured. I got it right. So now I got it all hooked up. So they went, okay. So first time out of the box, Timmy, to get us 27,000 pounds. Can you do that? Oh, fuck yeah, sure.
Can you do that?
But we want you.
Yeah, sure.
We want you to go get it. We want you to go pick it out. We want to make sure you know the product, you know this kind of shit. Because all of a sudden I'm the guy. You know, I'm the fucking clerk at the store or whatever the fuck. You know.
You're the guy.
Oh, sorry, dude. You almost fell out of your chair a second.
You almost went for a trip.
Yeah, right. No, so yeah, and I said, okay, whatever, fuck yeah. So all of a sudden I found myself climbing on board at 6 a.m. this little coolest badass little Learjet in this little private airstrip in Miami, and our ass is on the way to Colombia. It's about a 3.5 hour flight, and we're looking for this blank patch in the jungle. Because all you see is a sea of green, and the pilot's looking for this blank patch in the jungle where this airstrip is. There's no asphalt shit and lights and going runway, and that. It's just a well-groomed patch in the jungle. This is a jet's going to land on. And we fly right over this guy's house. Beautiful fucking mansion in the jungle. I mean, huge ass fucking place, about 3 stories.
My imagination's going wild.
I mean, grand rooms,
right?
grand rooms in marble, and I mean all kind of fucking fountains fucking everywhere. Hang out, dude. What the fuck? There's plenty to go around.
Right? You're like,
you know, so
flying over the plug's house right now.
we land in that shit, and I meet the boss, and I'm gonna get too ahead of there. I don't want to give that. That's the cool ass fucking story. My first time meeting this dude.
Yeah, it is.
And I did my you know, so I did my thing, and then you know I pulled it off, and so now the game begins, and it didn't work. I wasn't just working for the two guys I worked for in the book. I only worked for every two guys and two Miami Cuban dudes, Carlito and Leo. And when somebody asked me about cocaine earlier, if I can remember, I'll get back to it. But they were the only two people that I ever talked to. I don't want to know anybody else.
Yeah.
So if you're a cocaine cowboy in Miami and you got some cash, you want to load a pot, you want to make some money, jack your fucking wallet a little bit, go through Carlito and Leo. They'll come to me, and I don't even fucking know who you are.
Yeah.
So this is I'm getting. All next thing you know, here comes one after the other, because I'm paying what in those days for a pound of Colombian red, which is the commercial grade of Colombian, which wasn't bad shit, but it was what everybody wanted in those days, and it was primarily the most there was of anything.
Mm-hmm.
I had the ability through my guy in Colombia to buy it for. Whoa! I just fell out of my fucking chair.
Hello, everyone, and we're back.
That was fucking wild.
Parker, are you being silly?
Parker, he's so cool, man.
Yeah, he's like, pay attention to me.
Actually, his harness caught on the.
Aw,
That's all good,
okay.
man.
It's all good.
It's all good. I can barely see him in the haze, anyways. So I can understand his plight here. But anyways, what the fuck was I saying? Oh yeah, I'm
Carlito and Leo.
Yeah, my guy in Colombia, I'm hooked up, man. I'm paying $10 a pound for this shit.
And you're making.
Well, hold on. Okay.
I'm like the math is starting to go in my head right now.
Yeah,
Wait a minute.
I'll do the quick math for you.
Yeah, please.
So, just say on the average, a guy give me $300,000, I'll buy 15 tons, 300,000 pounds for $300,000. Now, which is about what I was getting that first load, was about 15 tons. They went 27,000. I made it rounded off 30,000. Fuck it. Fuck the change shit.
Yeah.
So at $10 a pound, $300,000. It takes about 8 to 14 days to make a trip from northern Colombia to South Florida. Once that load crosses into United States international waters, it's now worth $450 a pound. So now I've taken $300,000 and turned it into just shy of $15 million, minus my fee, which is about.
Holy moly!
Yeah, so this is.
Shake the fuck up.
Yeah, so this speaks a lot too with when people talk about violence in that industry, man. You know what the fuck? There's nobody shooting at my ass. I mean, who the fuck's shooting at this guy? He just made me minus my fee. Minus their $300,000 initial investment, they just made $9,700,000. And if it took me 2 weeks to get through the Caribbean, which normally it doesn't, but if there's a little bit of weather, it take that long.
Wow.
So there's a little bit of math for you. So this fucker ain't shooting at me. He's handing me more of his fucking cash, and that's just what happened. Jimmy, man, go get here. Now they're banking loads. They're not 30,000 pound loads. We're talking 40-ton shit. These cocaine cowboys are flush with money, and they're like using me to roll the dice.
That's
and
crazy.
By that I mean simply is let's do the math a little further. So these guys on average, let's just keep it simple math at 30,000 pounds. So they've made $9,700,000. Take that 300,000, divide it back into it, and it comes nearly somewhere around 26, 27, if I remember the math correctly. What that means is, say it's 27. I have 26 more chances to get another load in. I can lose every fucking one of them. But if I get that last one in, they still made money. According to that math.
Impressive.
Well, they made $9,700,000. I'll just go back and get another one because it only cost me $300,000. I made $9,700,000. Well, here, go, fuck it, go get another one. But I never lost one. So
my palms just got sweaty from that. I'm just like, I fucked up a lot of money. Holy fuck.
But here's where the math gets exponential. Okay, so I get the next one in because I'm not losing loads and shit. If anything, I've given loads away just so I could, because of the price I'm paying for this shit. There's a whole other story behind that too. But so if you figure, okay, now I doubled down. I brought the next one in. So now what are they? 52 to the good, 54 to the good now. I have 53 more chances to lose every fucking load and make that load. They're still, for all that, they're still making money. That's how stupid crazy it is, but I'm not losing, man. So next thing you know, these guys they're saying, keep several million and just go. Get what you can fucking get. It actually came to that. So now we're doing, man. Now we're going. And in the story I've talked about one night, my crew and I worked 28 nights. Well, some guys would beg it was more. But I left it at 28 nights in a row. We're doing this shit, and each night there was there was 1 and 2 other vessels out there waiting to be unloaded as well. We couldn't get them fuckers fast enough, to the tune of about 1.6 million pounds in 28 days, in about a month.
Oh.
That just gives you a little bit of an idea to the extent to which this shit was going on.
Crazy.
That's crazy.
And because and so there's also an evolution. And you would talk about the evolution of cannabis that's going on around here and even in the States and stuff like that. There was also an evolution going on there as well.
That's like the whole mountain coming down right there.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. We're emptying mountainsides in Colombia and shit. But it wasn't even only Colombia. There was Jamaica. There was Belize. There were 2 different growing seasons out of Colombia. So sometimes during the year, coming out of the winter into the fall season, I'm paying a little bit more because the harvest is not as abundant. It doesn't have as much rich, moist humidity, and that region is just perfect for growing fucking weed for some reason. And but that being said, the crops aren't in abundance, so my price goes up by $6. $16 now. Who gives a fuck? $16. Fuck it, Tim. Just keep going. It's $16. So we're losing a little bit during this winter month. So this is just how it went.
Barely.
Yeah. Yeah. So, or we'd go to Jamaica. We'd pull some lion's breath out of Jamaica, and shit like that. I've had it dropped out of airplanes on me and shit. Just however you can do this shit. But I don't want to give all that away, and shit. And I tip my hat to a very cool dude named George Young.
George Young, yeah.
When I talk about this little DC3 scenario that I talk about in the book and shit. But back a little bit more on train here about this, the work effort we were doing and just the craziness of it. Along with that came, not only were we working, but the evolution I was talking about. The first and second generations had their way of doing things. We learned how to do this and the mechanics of it. They were using, slower boats with single engines and things like that, and we were morphed a little bit. We were jacked, so because law enforcement after that started getting a little more sneaky, a little more, fucked up. And so we had to change our game a little bit too. So now we're running boats they're called T-Crafts or Morgans, made by a couple of brothers in town, the Morgan brothers, specifically for our needs. Shallow water, shallow drafted boats that are wide and left to load bales onto, because of the scenario I'll tell you about in a minute.
Can we keep it quiet, please? I'm in the middle of a show. That would be amazing. Thank you so much.
Thanks, brothers and sisters.
All right, sorry, keep going.
Yeah, no.
Please.
Yeah. But what was I saying now?
I lost it, to be honest.
The shell drafting boats that were made for us and stuff. Yeah, so now we've jacked up a little bit. And now instead of one engine and shit like this, each of my guys are running 235 horsepower Evinrudes, 2 of them, that have vertical and horizontal trim. So you can literally run these fuckers through water this deep. And we knew where the shallows and the deeps and everything and all these little places were. So you load, and we needed these boats because of the scenario I'll tell you about in a minute. But we also, along with that, tuned up our counter surveillance shit. I had a very good buddy of mine who was he had worked as part of my crew from time to time.
Right.
He was an Everglades National Park ranger. One of my best buddies, man.
Good to have one of those guys on your side.
We're right in the middle of the Everglades National Park headquarters. Is like right where the causeway is between the 2 islands. So, I got a cool story about that one, but I don't want to let that one go. But he turned me on to a guy in Miami. He had the coolest fucking counter surveillance shit, man, military grade kind of shit.
What year was this?
This is 1980. This is 1984 now.
Okay.
And 1985 is shit. After the second generation went down and they went to prison and all that kind of shit. So somebody had to step the fuck up. So that's where we began. That's where we began.
Police were at that time.
Yeah. So I'm buying all this cool shit, man. I got what they call parabolic microphones. I can sit in the middle of, in the water, you can hear shit pretty good. But with one of these parabolic microphones, they're like what they stand on the side of a soccer game, and you can hear what the players are saying when they're doing this shit. Like that.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, man, you hear somebody farting a mile away in the fucking mangroves with this thing.
Drifts over the water.
I had this cool little thing. I keep it in my pocket, and it had a wire. You screw a wire where the antenna goes, and the wire would come out and run down my pant leg like this, and I could walk through the bar, and if anybody had a transmitter on them that was recording me, no, it would pick up who had it. I could walk anywhere around there, and it would vibrate in my pocket. If it picked something up, and the closer I got to it, the faster it would vibrate.
Oh,
By the time I found out who it was, man, I'm ready to fuck. No, not really. No, but I never. It never went off. But I'm just saying I had that shit. But also I had a cool thing where I could change that wire when I got home. I could screw an antenna, telescope it out, and I could sweep my house when I got home. Make sure the shit, just shit like that. Night vision shit, starlight shit. There was, just
normal
out of
everyday things.
Government shit out of Vietnam with this technology and shit, but anyways, I got all this shit. This is how I'm talking about. We jacked this shit a little bit.
Yeah.
Right.
So with these engines, we jet, and jacking our methods as well. We're able to move bigger loads faster. Because the scenario I'll tell you about in just a second,
Through shallow water.
through shallow waters and stuff, just to make sure nobody can follow us and shit.
Absolutely.
And just take advantage of this cool stuff, this cool shit, this cool technology. And the law enforcement, of course, like I said, they were stepping their shit up a little bit too. So we had to keep up with that as well. But to make one of these jobs work, like I said overnight, it takes a group of people, and like I said, it takes a village. And I get a lot of mad props for having done what I was involved in, and did it with a group of dudes and chicks and gals too, man. I mean, it wasn't just guys doing this shit. There was gals doing it, and I'll explain that too. I didn't do this by myself. I couldn't have done it. I couldn't have done it alone. Yeah, it took all these cool guys that risked their lives and went through. Every fucking one of them went to prison over it, man. Yeah. Every fucking one of us were looking at life sentences, and I'll get to that too. But, yeah. So when I speak of that and the amount of people it takes, if you're going offshore to unload a freighter, generally we would take 2 large boats like you saw in the picture with all deck. Load these fucking things so many bales on them, you can't really tell they're boats. You can just see the radar turning. Yeah. These boats, each of them might have 15 tons on them, 30,000 pounds on them. So those big boats are chugging, they're not moving very fast at all. So the captain's in there, he's watching radar, and me and Clark, the other dude, we're back there digging around, testing this shit out, man. What do we got, dude? Because if it's some badass shit, we got to tell the boys on the hill, so they can, stash a couple of bales, man. This shit's killer. We got to tell them what we got, so everybody in town can have some, right? So, because we're moving so slowly with this heavy weight, we've got to go at any one time not to unload. If we can get that boat coming from South America, wherever it's coming from, as close to shore as we can get it, that just shuts the night down quicker and makes the job happen faster, obviously. But it's less dangerous because we're out there, the captain's looking on the radar, and if it looks like we have 50 miles we can see. And if it looks like another boat's coming toward these big bastards that are barely fucking moving, we have what's called a chase boat. And that's a type of a boat that'll do 80 miles an hour plus or so before your ass will even hit the fucking seat, man. And there's a picture of mine in the book right here. Now, these boats are designed just exactly for that, an escape valve. When you see this shit coming at you on the radar, we get off onto this bad motherfucker here and leave that shit behind. You can have it.
Straight the fuck up.
And we're gone into the night, brah.
Well, is that one of them there?
That's my brother in my boat.
Yeah.
But
there?
That's the boat right there.
Perfect.
A boat of this style, 31 foot, 600 horsepower. We see the law coming or somebody coming on that, and we get the fuck away from it. Let them have that fucking shit.
Fuck the load, right?
But we've got a handheld radar on this boat, so we can keep watching. And if it turns like that boat turns and like it ain't coming, we'll just go back and get back on that motherfucker and get going. But we had a way to get away. So that being said, now we're chugging our asses into shore. We're bringing all this shit. Now, 2 boats and 6 guys have control of the entire load. Only 6 people have control of 60,000 pounds. This is the hierarchy of the scheme of things. We get paid the most. And I just fell into that fucking position because I got that job on that fucking boat. But it was
going fishing.
Yeah, well, I was going fishing.
I love it.
So I thought, so...
That is
in the scheme of things,
cool.
Yeah, that's where it all begins. And there was no animosity to any of the local guys or any shit like that. That's just how the shit was. They were happy. Everybody's happy to make some cash. But now I'm making, I'm jacking, any 50, 75,000, 100,000, depending on some of these loads. And I'll tell you about a crazy ass one. I'll tell her it's in there, but I'll tell you about that one. So then it breaks down from there. So these boats come in and whoa, they shut down. And out from the mangroves and the islands come 15 or 20 little boats these T-crafts with these twin 235 engines on them and shit that I'm talking about. They come up like flies on a fucking garbage can, and their crew guy, there's two on a boat. Their crewman jumps off and he helps us start throwing bales on those boats. They're all tucked in there every way they can get. And they start throwing and they start heading off to the house and through the islands. To Chokoloskee, where you saw the island, to one of my. Oh, I get this thing going here.
I need a lighter because I lit it with the.
One of my buddy's house. Go ahead.
Lighter around.
I get going, man. Take this shit in through the islands and stick
I think Cody took it over there. It'll be over there.
It's all good.
I got like so
and
many in the
stick
car.
this shit into one of my buddy's houses that we've literally taken all the fucking furniture out of. I mean, strip that fucking bare. And the crew's on there, the shore crew's in there, and the boats pull up to the dock, and they start bucking the brigade and handing this shit off, and they start filling the house from the back, bedroom, bathroom, kitchen, dining room, den, living room, fucking whatever, every place you can stick it from the floor to the ceiling, and shut the door when it's full and go to the house next door. Start filling it. And this scenario.
I want my house to be one of those.
This scenario.
Shove it full, just as long as the door closes.
Well, that's part of the pay. That's part of the pay scheme I'm talking about. And these guys are making. Well, when I talk about the hierarchy of things, there are a few positions, a few things that you could do that you make more money.
Right.
Obviously, being one of the guys on the boat that goes to Colombia and does that's a huge payday there because that's a huge trip. That's a long risk. But now we're on shore, and we're filling the house. So you've got two guys on two little boats. You've got 15 to 20 of those. You're paying each boat $30,000 or $35,000 depending on the load. So that's starting to add up now. Captain pays his crewman out of the pay we give him for that boat, whatever like that. So now the house is full. Job's done. Load boats can go offshore and clean up and anchor and do whatever they need to do and then come in the next day, just like whatever. Mm-hmm. So everybody else goes home and goes to bed. Till the next morning when the sun comes up. When the sun comes up and it gets nice, bright, and shiny early in the morning, that's when the shore crew takes over, believe it or not.
Okay.
That's when the girls get involved and the guys, and they bring their cars and their vans and their trucks, or in some cases, the Winnebago. And everybody's got a radio, called a 2-meter radio. And communication is key. 60 people working, if that's how many's working, every fucking body's got a radio and they can hear every word everybody says. We all got the same 5 different combinations, 5 different numbers. You can make any combination up you want. And it's virtually at that time impossible to scan because of the number of combinations, 14 million or some shit like that.
Right.
So we pick 1 or 2 and switch at certain times at the night. So all these radios, we could just talk freely.
Right.
We can't scan that shit. Mm-hmm. So that was key too.
Yes.
So the drivers pull up, you load the car. Typically a car you could get 11 bales in it, which isn't much, but it's moving the shit. A van would come up, a van you could get about 30 bales in it, 60-pound bales.
Yeah.
There were pickup trucks with cabs on the back of them and shit, you name it. We had a Winnebago that we took a chainsaw and a wrecking bar to. Cut everything out of that motherfucker except from the windows down. Left the cabinets and the curtains and that shit. We even took the fucking seats out of it. Pulled a bale out so you could sit there and drive that fucking thing like this, right?
Amazing.
You look up in it, you can see the cabinets and the curtains and shit, but if you got up on your tip and look inside, that fuck was a sea of bales. 10,000 pounds in that motherfucker.
Awesome.
So that's why the chicks could get involved, because they could drive a van and shit like that. So they pull up and get loaded and get a radio, and we tell them where they need to go in Miami. And typically it would be a place like a plaza or a mall or someplace like that where there's a lot of cars. A lot of traffic in and out, that kind of shit. And tell them how to get there specifically. Most people have done this. They know where to go and shit like that. And okay, guys would give the bumper a kick because they're closing the trunks and shit with their elbows and they're like this because nobody wants to put their fucking hands on the car. Should it get stopped, but I'll tell you about that too. If that shit never happened, it has happened a few times, but there's a way around that shit. So these people are driving to Miami all day long, back and forth. They're emptying out these fucking houses because we're going to fill them buckers again the next night.
Yeah.
That shit's got to go.
It's got to be out.
It's got to be
100%.
Yeah, it's got to go. So this is this scenario.
So this is a huge team that's making all of this work.
Exactly, and that's
right?
why I say,
It's not just
I
you
get
by
props
yourself.
for being, and I'll take them for being what I was within this group of people, but I wouldn't have been that without those people.
Good for
so
you for recognizing that,
Well,
though,
yeah.
and making sure that you still tell that in your story,
and
right?
yeah, of course, and I had to be very respectful with the way I sewed the story together with regards to those who had not been implicated and managed to get by,
Right.
and as opposed to those who did. And I respected that because I got through legal with my publisher. Obviously, I could not implicate someone which had not been ever implicated.
Very smart.
But I wouldn't have done that anyways. So I got through legal pretty good. There are a couple of guys in there that I
You
needed.
guy was smart enough.
A couple guys I needed permission from in there, but I got that, which was cool. They said, "Yeah, fuck yeah, I don't mind," because the story needed to be told by somebody like me, and we all
That's
agreed
very
on
true.
that. But as the scenario continues, these people are driving this shit to a plaza, like I said, in Miami, and they get to this big parking lot, and a member of my crew, very trusted hierarchy, a member of my crew, is in this parking area with one of my Cuban partners, guys.
Mm-hmm.
And he's pointing out our vehicles as they pull in and park, and our guy gets out and goes window shopping. Their Cuban counterpart gets in it, takes it to wherever the fuck it is in Miami they're taking this shit, and unloads it and brings it back empty. My guys get in it and bring the car back, fill it up and bring it back again if there's time. So Miami partners never know in Everglades where the shit's at, and the guys in Everglades never know where the shit's at in Miami. Should they get stopped somewhere along the way? You know what I'm saying? And typically, when I talk about them coming to the house and get loaded, it's the owner of the vehicle that comes to, and I should explain. The owner of the vehicle comes and gets the thing loaded and takes it back to his house and parks it.
Right.
Who he has hired to drive it then gets in it and goes, because the owners
two different people.
Owners of the vehicles and owners of the vessels are never driving the vehicles, and there's a reason for that. So their asses are out there driving this road all the way to Miami, and I just told myself, "Fuck, I don't want to do that shit, man. I'm out there with a chase boat.
Mm-hmm.
I got a way out of this.
Staying on
I got
water.
way out of this shit, man.
Landing my shit.
Yeah.
These fuckers have the balls, and I'm thinking there's something wrong with the pay here, but it all breaks down to to who's got more of the load. This guy's only got through to 30 bales maybe, or 40 at the most, or whatever. So
Right.
you get paid accordingly. But nevertheless, there were safety measures designed in that aspect of it as well. I learned to have 6 or 8 people that weren't hauling anything at all with radios just drive that route all day long, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and they're passing my guys, and there's always somebody there to help you if you need help.
Yeah.
I'll explain why. And I also have people that know where every Marine Patrol officer is, where every park ranger is, highway patrol, sheriff's office, and if they're not at work, there's a guy parked outside the house watching the house. So I know where fucking everybody is.
You gotta know where everybody
And there
is.
isn't
It's
that
very
many of 'em, 'cause
important.
How many people like this does it take to wrangle a fucking town that doesn't even have 500 people in it? You know what I'm saying? So they're not hard to watch.
Yeah.
And it's not,
Too
and
funny.
it's also funny how there's only one road in this fucking place and one road out.
Yeah.
It's out to an island and a causeway. What does that fucking say to you, a causeway? It's like a road that was built to get fucking one way on and one way off kind of shit.
It's true.
There's a funny story about that too. But the scenario continues. The dance in Miami takes place and the shit's all unloaded. Now, I don't ever get paid for having done that job until that load begins to sell. So when that shit starts to get sold, I start to get paid.
Right.
And say for 30,000 pounds, it's like $5 million. But the loads are jacked. My average payday's anywhere from, $8 to $17 million. And I would take, to ensure that my crew and I would get paid. And I always told these fuckers this, and this was part of the deal. If you owe me $14 million, I'm keeping $14 million worth of your shit's going this way to somebody in Naples. The rest of your shit can go to Miami. When you start selling it off and you fucking pay me, I'll start giving you your shit back. You give me $3, $4, $5 million, I give you $3, $4, $5 million worth of your shit. That's how it's gonna work. And they never had a problem with that. It was always
the way to do it.
You lose your fucking shit in Miami, I don't need to be responsible for that shit.
Yeah. 100%.
I took control of it all the way from fucking Colombia and got it to here, motherfuckers.
Your turn to take over.
Now it's all on fucking you. So
Absolutely.
my ass is gonna get paid if you lose your shit.
Yeah.
We didn't bust our ass or risk our ass going to prison.
It's good that you made sure that was the way it was.
Well, that's how I learned to do this shit.
You did your part. That's it.
Right. So
everything else is on
you were
them.
raised right.
Right. Yeah. So knowing all the shit, just by having been around, and I'm a firm believer in that. Constant exposure leads to a certain amount of contamination. Man, I was goddamn mass contaminated, dude. So I picked up the scenario and learned it. So and then the dance continues from there with regards to money. So now Carlito call me and say, time to get paid, Jimmy. And I take a drive over to Miami to a house in Coral Gables, which is in the west side of Miami in the suburbs, and to a money house we had. And this house, and in retrospect, was like, what the fuck were you thinking, man? The house at any one time would have, 47, 50, 60 million dollars in it. They have hundreds in one room, 50s in one room, 20s in another room,
Holy.
10s in like the den or the living room and shit, and the 5s were in the fucking garage because 5s take up so much fucking room, man. Because now your money's not hundreds anymore. So there's like, fuck. So yeah,
goodness.
we go over and now we start the pay thing, and we start counting money. We got money machines, 2 of them, sometimes 3 of them, going like this. We got guys going into a bedroom. Now I had to take some of each denomination. By getting $12 million, I can't just take it in hundreds because there's other people that get paid.
Right.
I'm first money out. You got my fucking money, I get paid before anybody else does. That's just how it works. So I'm sitting here with a house full of fucking cash, and I got to take, because I can't. Everybody has to take some of everything, even the fucking 5s. They had this down. We agreed to amicably.
The ones?
No, fuck those.
Hey, fuck with those.
Damn.
Fuck the ones.
I got a funny story about ones, man. It's in the book.
No ones.
But anyways,
we're actually running very, very short on time, so we're gonna have to wrap it up very quickly because Freddie is gonna be on very soon,
yeah,
and I don't want to take that over.
I told you.
I know. These stories are amazing, but
yeah, so
we've got a little bit of time, but we're gonna have to wrap it up very soon.
Yeah, no, I can wrap it from here.
Perfect.
And still leave you enough to There's
you're still going to want to buy the book because this is only really not even a quarter of a story.
We're counting money, and I can go off and on shit about that, but it got to be such a pain in the ass because these money machines aren't going fast enough. Guys are going into each room, then they got launder baskets, and they're grabbing bundles of money. We're snapping rubber bands and putting them in the thing, and it's counting. We're doing and ledgering and shit like that. It takes for goddamn ever. I would be 3 and 4 days counting money round the fucking clock sometimes just to get paid.
I wish I had these
and
problems.
now I'm working. I should be in Colombia because I'm going like 3 or 4 times a month. I'm flying down there, and now I'm not buying one load at a time. I might be buying 6. I was buying 100,000 pounds, 200,000 fucking pounds at a time, and then send boats to go get the shit because I was tired of fucking flying down there and counting fucking money. So we had an idea one day just to weigh the shit. Fucking around with the balance beam scales one day, or whatever. You throw a bill on there and shit, it weighs a gram. Every fucking bill, no matter what denomination, weighs a gram. So there's 28 grams in an ounce, 16 ounces to a pound. It's just fucking math from there. And all you got to do is fan through the bills to make sure what denomination it is you're throwing into the scale. And from that point now, the guys are bringing these laundry baskets out, and I'm taking bundles. I'm counting the bundles, 1, 2, 3, 4, because I have to also add the weight of the rubber band on the bundle. Rubber band weighs 2 grams. So I have to add that in grams to the weight. So ultimately what this amounts to now is, if I'm counting $1 million in 20s, I need 400 pounds to come on the scale. So all I got to do is throw it up there till I see 400 fucking pounds. There's $1 million. Dump it out like that. Now instead of 4 days or 5 days of counting money, I'm counting money in one fucking afternoon.
Just by weight.
Right.
Just
Because
by
I'm
weight.
counting that shit by the weight.
Right.
Hilarious,
22.2 pounds in hundreds. There's $1 million fucking dollars right there. It was simple math.
Simple math.
So now I'm cranking away.
Amazing.
So then I go back and then I pay my crew according to the job and the position. The boats running offshore. The boats coming into and from Colombia are expensive. Those are about $500,000 if there's one of them. That could be a $500,000 expense, which is really nothing in the overall scheme of things. Boats going offshore to unload. The boats like I worked on. There's a good 300, 400 grand, 500 grand themselves because of all. Okay, once again, 6 people have control of the entire load.
Yeah.
And they're responsible for it from offshore to onshore. So the scale then goes subsequently accordingly. The boats that come and get us, they're 30 grand a piece. The drivers get maybe 25 grand a piece. The owners of the vehicles. And the reason why the boats and the owners of the vehicles are never the people driving it is because if they get stopped on their way to Miami, or the boat gets approached offshore and we get off of it and go. Now, Captain Willie's father was actually the registered owner of the boat. He ran it. It was his boat, really, actuality. But the vehicles as well. If you get stopped on the road, what they're trained to do is wait for the patrol officer, whoever the fuck it is, to come up behind you and get out of his car and start walking, throw that bitch in reverse and nail his fucking ass with that car that used to weigh 4,000 pounds now weighs 8 or some shit like that, or 6,000 pounds, whatever it may be. Wreck that bitch and take off. He's not going to follow you. He can't, but you cannot run his radio either. But you get out of sight of him, and one of our 8 spotters will pick you up. Get out of that fucking thing, because now you're on your radio going, the game's over. It's up. They got my shit. So somebody on the hill, probably myself or whoever's, one of my hierarchies listening, calls the person that owns the boat or owns the car or truck or whatever it is that's getting boarded or stopped, and he calls and says, I just looked outside, my car's been stolen. Or I just looked out the dock, my boat's gone.
Smart. That's so
And now
smart.
the owner is relieved of responsibility of whatever that vessel or boats and car has been involved in. And they get it back.
So smart.
And my guy's gone, man.
I love it.
And if they can't get a spotter right away, they duck off into the bushes and run their ass off. They got that fucking radio. We'll find your ass.
We got
it's all
you.
good, man. We got you.
Fuck, amazing
So there was
stories,
everything
man.
was cool, man. We had it all figured out, And then when I say that, there was obviously a certain amount of risk.
Yeah.
Because they were getting smarter too. They were evolving, but ultimately didn't have any idea of and the amount to which we were doing this. Because when I got arrested in September 1987, the headlines read, "Area part of U.S. pot dragnet." This is in the book. There's a picture of it.
Yep.
Agents say 38 helped import over 150 tons. Ooh, and then they got me on there, my name and shit, and a couple of my crew guys getting hauled to jail and shit like that. But what they didn't understand after, everything started to fall apart was that 150 tons, that was about a week's work.
You're like, whatever.
Probably like their biggest.
Then there came a point in time when they weren't believing me about what I was telling them and shit like that because it was so ridiculous. But hey, read about it. Like the guys that chased me now are some of my badass friends.
Isn't that crazy how the world works like that?
Supervisor for United States Customs. It was on the front page in the book. You'll see it, the picture of him.
So cool.
He is now one of my best friends, believe it or not. I work out with him every morning in the gym.
This guy
that
here.
That guy right there. His name is John DC, Supervisor for United States Customs. And
he was after you for a bit?
He chased me for about 2 years. He became Customs Supervisor in 1986. And if I can, real quickly, from 1980 to 1986, before he became the supervisor, the 2 guys that were actually chasing us out there, I got a chance to meet them about 4 or 5 months ago.
Yeah.
John introduced me to them because we're going to do a thing with Vice.
Yeah.
And these guys couldn't wait to meet me. We got questions, man. I'm like, dude, I got questions too. I could go on about that too, but one came from the CIA to become a customs interdiction. He wanted to run boats, and another one came from Secret Service.
Okay.
Under the Carter administration, they wanted to run boats for interdiction. So those 2 guys were actually guys that chased us before John, this guy, got there, my friend. So now we're all just friends. We're buddies because we're working together on a project,
That's so cool.
They dig me, I dig them.
That's so cool.
And I had a relationship with one. I'll just say real quickly, we're having this conversation about 5 months ago, having lunch, and the guy looks me dead in the face about 30 minutes into this conversation and lunch. He goes, "I boarded your boat one night." And I said, "Really, dude?" And I've only ever been boarded 3 times. And I remember each time vividly. I said, "Dude, you got to give me more than that." And he said, and he started in. I went, "Oh, fuck yeah, that was you? He says, yeah, dude, that was me.
God, insane.
But, but that's a backstory to another job that never made the book for another time, but it's very
Yeah,
cool
we're going to
stuff.
have to cut this quick or short, unfortunately, half short, half long, because we do have Freddie coming up. So I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you, T. Locasone, for coming on the show. It was absolutely amazing. Make sure that you look up his music. We played his latest song, which was absolutely fire. So make sure that you listen to him. And you've got some awesome features, too, that you worked with a lot of other artists as well. So make sure that you look out for those guys, too, right?
Yeah, shout out Hood Rich.
Yeah.
Wave.
There you go. And you've got an Instagram and Twitter or anything like that? Yeah.
TLOCASONE.
Perfect. T. Locasone. Awesome.
You'll
so
have
I'm
to
just
get
going to
us hooked
swap
up.
you out with...
100%.
I'm going to swap you out with Craig just so Craig can say something really quickly.
It was really
Honor having you on my show.
sure.
Don't
I
take
know.
off right away. I do want to get a picture with you
I'm now
before
a
we
fan,
go, though.
brother.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a fan now.
I hate
Awesome.
to jack his seat, man. I feel bad for taking it, but I had to jump in for a second and say, hey,
No,
Kush.
yeah. Hi, how's it going?
Good, baby. You?
Expert. The
What's
expert
going
is in
on,
the
man?
house.
Yeah, so, Parker.
Put it in here, brother.
What's going on, bro?
Parker, I love
Parker's
that.
here chilling,
I love
too.
So
that
yeah,
guy, military guy, man. He's
this was an
cool.
amazing episode. Big thanks to you. Big thanks to
Oh, no, thank
Saltwater
you,
as well.
man.
Tim McBride, you're an amazing guy. So happy to hear your stories. I could honestly sit here for hours and hours, but
I can honestly sit here and talk to you for
He
hours.
has-
and hours.
I
I
wish
may
I
even
could.
let you say something.
And he's been talking for hours and hours since Wednesday, since he landed.
It's all good.
We did a 4-hour show on Thursday. Of course, we hijacked Jared's show on Sunday. The interview here,
It's Friday.
right?
It just-
Friday.
Sorry, yes.
It's okay. We're here
Yeah.
Sunday now.
Yeah, it's
That's
Friday,
how crazy things
Thursday,
are getting,
Friday,
yeah.
and Sunday.
But I love Ken. I love being here, and I love your fans, and I'm a fan. I watch. I'm hooked up with you now.
That means so much.
I have been.
Awesome. Cool.
And I just basically just got to say, for everybody who wants more of these, of course, like I said, Tim's Tales happens every 2 weeks on Expert Joints Live. He Skypes in, and it's a lot of fun. You can hear him for more of the tales, some of the inside, and sometimes some expansions on some of the book, and sometimes some stuff that didn't make it into the book.
Yeah, there's so much of that.
Right?
So amazing.
And if you want a copy of the book, you can, of course, get them at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Chapters, Indigo, Audible.com.
Has a cool version.
Anywhere where finer books are sold, as well as likely some places that weed are sold. We're going to try and get some in a CC pretty soon as well, too. But me, being the fact that he's been on my show for a year, I went ahead and happened to end up with 100 different copies of his book.
Not 100 anymore.
No, not anymore. It's down to about
Going
80.
fast.
There's about 80
They are
copies.
going
this.
fast. I
They're-
got myself a copy.
They are signed copies. So tell them about it.
There's about 80 copies of them left or so. Only through expertjoints.com, only through me, can you get yourself a autographed copy of Saltwater Cowboy from Tim McBride himself. You can go ahead and email your name and your address to info@expertjoints.com. They are $40 Canadian plus shipping, which is usually around $20 depending on where you are. If you get it to me literally within the next 2-3 hours, you can maybe even still get it autographed to you by name.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there's
I'm
still
outta
going to
here
be.
at
Yeah, he
11
leaves
o'clock
tonight.
tonight.
And we try and get him back again sometime, of course.
Well,
But yeah, if you want an autographed
you
copy,
have to come back and visit us. Absolutely.
Too many cool people. I've met a ton of cool people.
and you've met this
more
many.
Cool people
You
than-
have
yes,
there's so many
than
more
me.
people you still have to meet, brother.
It's such a blast being here.
Thanks. I
This is so-
honestly am having such a good time having you here.
This is very cool.
It was cool to have I had my show already all set up and it was already going to be so amazing, and then boom, I got this surprise and I was like, hell yeah.
Well,
We're going to do a
thank you.
2-hour special.
Yeah, you did.
Thanks.
Yeah, you did.
So I'm super, super happy. So yeah, make sure that you watch and listen to
Please
more of Tim's Tales.
Pick up a bit of
On Expert
American
Joints.
history, and
Yeah.
and y'all got a revolution going on, and we've got one going on in the States. It's been going on for over 80 years there, and God bless everybody. If you're willing to step up and join the revolution, it's maybe time you got to know a few of its founding fathers,
Mm-hmm.
and they're right in here.
I agree.
As I call him on the show, of course, I call him the Weed Hulk Hogan. We call him the George Young of weed.
Yes.
Of course. And to refer to George Young, or George Young, however you want to pronounce it, my man, is the subject of a movie called Blow that Johnny Depp was in. So now the author of that book is a guy named Bruce Porter.
Very cool dude.
And he says about Saltwater Cowboy, a wild and entertainingly true story about one of the biggest pothaulers in American history, speedboat chases, women, Colombian mansions. Tim McBride's tale of excess is a thrill to read.
He's like, that's me.
That's him. And that's coming from the guy who wrote Blow, which basically the movies and TV shows that will eventually come out around your life will be able to say you saw it and heard it first on Pot TV.
I hope they're watching.
Yes.
30,
How
40
awesome
years
is
from
that,
now.
hey?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
That is wicked.
And that connection came by way of our publishers and our editor. Bruce and I shared the same publisher.
Sweet.
So it's serious
one of
business.
the world's
It
largest publishers of the English language. I just knocked it out of the park with that one, man. It was-
Fucking
And
A.
they're clamoring to get it is the incredible true story of an all-American boy who became the head of a multi-million-dollar smuggling ring. The rise and fall of a marijuana empire, Saltwater Cowboy. It's been an honor to be
right.
touring around with the dude.
Absolute honor. An
Again, if you
absolute
want the
honor.
book,
I love the city, man. It's cool being here.
info at
Well, it's an
expertjoints.com.
honor to have you.
Right?
Thanks.
Yeah.
Info at expertjoints.com. Get a book. And at Saltwater and at Potholler Tim on Twitter, original Saltwater Cowboy on
There
Instagram.
you
That's right.
Ms. KushQueen with 3 E's, 420 on across
That's
the board.
right.
Oh,
and of course,
That's right.
expertjoints.com.
Could somebody real
And
quick
Expert
hand me
Joints.
my calendar
Oh, yeah.
and get me
Get that-
October?
Get that calendar and get
Flip it to
October.
October. Which
Your-
is,
your
which
favorite
is now
month?
my favorite fucking month.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Here, I'll let you show what you got, what I got.
Which camera are we on?
Sweet.
Tim got his own signed copy of the calendar.
Very cool.
Super exciting.
Yes.
Yay!
Thank you so very much.
Well, it was an honor to have you. So yeah, what an awesome episode. Thanks for staying with me the entire time. And make sure that you watch me on Wednesdays with Marijuana Man from Under the Influence. Monday, you've got Carly Marley and BC Budgal for the 420 Lifestyle Show. You've got Thursdays, Expert Joints live, and Friday, Jer. So yeah,
Lots of times.
lots of times. And stay tuned in like, I don't even know how
Good
long,
stuff.
probably 20 minutes, and you've got Freddie.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see
Come
you
on,
next week.
Freddie.
Thanks, T-Loke, as well.
See y'all. Thank you.
Bye.
Peace.